So this is my 14.4 review of my fitness session by Harry Baker. So in this screencast I'll be explaining my strengths and weaknesses that were identified through the teaching of my session. I will also state the strengths and weaknesses from my peers and explain the changes that I made to my session when I was teaching it, and also what I would change in the future if I was to teach the session again. And lastly, I'll set myself 3 SMART targets to be achieved in the short, medium and long-term future. So the strengths and weaknesses received from my peers. So my strengths were I was clear vocally, I did good demonstrations, and I had good organisation. However, my weaknesses were my time management, enjoyment, and keeping attention. And these were all found through them filling out my feedback sheet. So my personal strengths and weaknesses. So I feel as though my first strength was confidence, as I felt like I knew exactly what I was going to do and when and how each exercise will translate and flow into the next one. This is also a strength because it showed the participants who was leading the session and the requirements they should be doing. Also, the fact I was confident shows that I knew what I was talking about, and when I corrected the participants' technique, they listened and put it right without a fuss. An example of when I was confident was when I was saying how the circuit will run and that nothing should go wrong, and it was designed for each different muscle group. So my confidence also led on to my second strength, which was demonstration, as I felt like I demonstrated the correct technique and at the right speed so everybody understood what was included in the circuit and how to do it. I felt like this was a strength because I gave a demo for all the stations for everyone, so everyone was aware of what to do. An example where I demonstrated was when I was showing the group how to complete the correct technique press up. My final strength, as you can see, was a wide variety of stations that all had different exercises if the participant couldn't complete the original one. Therefore, this was a strength because the variety of stations meant the participant didn't get bored and want to stop because each station was unique. An example of the variety is that I had squat jumps and press ups, which shows that each one is working different muscle groups and not repetitive. However, I felt as though my session also had weaknesses. Eye contact was the first, as you can see, as I felt as though this was a weakness because each station was laid out quite far apart from each other in a circle. Therefore, I could only be looking in one direction at one person at a given time. Therefore, this was hard to give everybody the same eye contact as I walked around looking very briefly. An example of when I didn't give eye contact is when I showed a participant the correct technique for a drill and I didn't look at another participant whether they're doing the press ups behind me. My second weakness I felt was my body language, as I felt I didn't use my hands much, which could show a lack of effort and could have potentially impacted the participants because if they thought that I didn't want to coach, then they shouldn't put effort in trying in the circuit. I also felt like I could have used my body language more to an advantage. For example, when I was saying to the person skipping well done, I could have been clapping at the same time, which would make the participant feel like they're doing very well and want to try harder for other stations. So adaptations made during the session. So there are 3 main adaptations that I made during the session, as they never go exactly how you want them to. The first adaptation that I made was double skipping, as I quickly realised that most of the participants in my group were very good at skipping, so I felt like I would adapt it to make it harder, and because it would have been boring and wouldn't have tested the component it was aiming for. The second adaptation I made was for the tricep dip station, because I realised the floor was very slippery and therefore I adapted the station to put their feet on a rubber box, therefore it would hold their feet still so they could partake and perform in the activity properly. The final adaptation that I made in this session was the knee press ups, because looking at the group a lot of people were struggling with normal press ups, therefore I thought I would adapt the session so they would feel more comfortable, but also it would specifically work the target area and muscle groups that it was aimed for. So what I would change. So if I would repeat the session again, I would change a few things. For example, I would change the amount of time that the participants would spend on each station, as I felt like they were working for a very long time for each station. Therefore, I would change the time so it would be shorter for each station, and they would complete more circuits in the given time. The second thing that I would change was the intensity of the session, as I stated that all the stations should be around 60% of their maximal heart rate, and therefore I wanted to make the sessions shorter and at high intensity around 90%, so the participants really made the most out of the session and achieved the aim. The final area that I would change is my warm-up, as I conducted quite a repetitive, boring warm-up that wasn't very fun. Therefore, if I was to run the session again, I would make the warm-up more fun, as I would include a fun game like Stuck in the Mud, as this would work all body parts ready for the intense session that was next to be had. So a suitable course, which is the Sports Leader Level 3. So yeah, a suitable course that would be ideal to go on to improve my coaching and fitness instructing would be the sports leader course, as this is nationally recognised and enables successful learners to independently lead purposeful and enjoyable sports activities. So it allows leaders to build up on their skills such as organisation, planning, communication and teamwork through a medium of sport. This course is a practical qualification, which the only entry requirements being that you should have completed any types of Sports Leader Level 2 award. The course will take 107 guided learning hours depending on your experience. So in order to complete the qualification, you must demonstrate 30 hours of leadership. This will help with further coaching, as this will improve my communication skills. The course consists of 8 units of work, which at least 7 must be completed. So as you can see, these are developing leadership skills, provision of sports within the community, lead sessions designed to improve fitness, organize and lead a sports event or competition, legal and ethical responsibilities when working with others, lead sports sessions with children and lead sports sessions for older people, and lead sports sessions for disabled people. Therefore, this course would be very good for me to improve my leadership skills and specific fitness instructing, and will make my sessions more effective and complete the aim. So my SMART targets, so I have a short, medium and long-term target, which will help to improve my fitness instructing for the future. So my short-term target is to run another fitness session to get more experience and to try and improve the things that I felt weren't good previously. My medium-term target is to watch at least 3 more different fitness sessions so I can see how others coach and the skills they use, which will benefit my own coaching and developmental skills, as I could take on board what they're teaching. And finally, my long-term target is to complete the Sports Leader course, and this will increase my knowledge about leading, and I would achieve the qualification and therefore would be able to teach more meaningful and fun sessions in the future, which will definitely benefit the clients that I'm teaching.